right. It is the Illini Basketball Podcast, episode 137. Don't look now, folks, but this is our third episode in 5 days.
Wow.
Don't look now. Also, I thought it was funny that you had a Facebook memory of episode 10.
Episode 10. How crazy is that? 3 years ago.
127 episodes in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Plus the 10 you add a couple months because we started in November, I think, of 19. So yeah, we've been around. Cool. We've been doing this. We're probably the oldest podcast in the history of the Illini basketball program.
Probably. Steve's here already. What's up, Steve? He says, "Hey guys, Illini look much better after running the spread for 3 weeks. Coleman played like he wanted to score 20. Now, if we can get him to attack the rim and get to the line, the Illini will rock it." I don't know if he can get to the lane. Crypto, what's going on? But yeah, Illinois wins. Must-win game, I would say. I think everybody would say that. Really, it felt like they controlled this game. Their offense was much better. Ended up winning by 10, 79-69 against number 14, Wisconsin, without Tyler Wall. I don't know if Tyler Wall makes that much difference, but, you know, you got to think best players out. That means something. So, into the Pogs, player of the game for each of us. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with Coleman Hawkins. I think I have to. He was good this game. 33 minutes, 7 for 11, 6 of 9 from 3, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers. He wasn't looking to pass the ball every time. He wasn't shot faking every time. Ready to catch and shoot. And that's the Coleman Hawkins that Illinois needs. He did try to penetrate a few times. It's still not very good when he tries to get inside. But if he can consistently shoot, I'm not saying that he's going to go 6 of 9, but if he can make, 4 or 5 threes a game while shooting 8, I'm okay with that. I don't know if he's a 50% shooter, but if you ask Brad Underwood, he is. So
if you ask Brad Underwood, he's like a 90% shooter.
Yeah. But yeah, he makes $1 million out of $1 million if you ask Brad. So, but yeah, like I said, just ready to shoot the ball. There was such a difference between that and his fadeaways. Brad talked about it in the post game, the last game against Northwestern, about how they don't practice those shots, so they need to stop shooting those shots. But again, I think this is where Coleman Hawkins is the best as a player. Not worrying about having to run an offense, because you had guys like Shannon and Epps and Meyer that were getting to the lane. They were using danger, so Coleman could shine in this part of it. So Underwood said of Coleman, "I'm so proud of Coleman. I say it all the time. He is an elite shooter. I'm not going to put him in Plummer's area yet, but he is an elite shooter, and that's why we feel really great about him shooting." So
I don't think I'm ready to use the word elite with him. I know Brad's been doing it forever, but there was one sequence where you definitely, if you watch back, you're humble in the broadcast saying, like, right there when Coleman, shot clock's running down a little bit, goes to his right, tries to fade away that mid-range jumper. I don't know what point in the game that was, but Hummel pretty much said that's you just made a couple threes and then you take a shot like that, and that's kind of where Coleman's been at a lot of the season, but he was much like 95% decisive with shooting the ball in this game, and obviously turns out it makes a big difference when you're like that.
Yeah, Anthony King says he is an elite shooter, guys. Terrence was his player of the game. Yeah, we'll get to him. Ethan picked him, so. Anthony also said we were losing tomorrow and going on a 6-game win streak. Calling it now.
I'd almost argue that the 6-game win streak has already begun.
Yeah, I like that. Jay says, "How will Hawkins respond after having a good game? Will he go back to tragic Johnson? Just stick to shooting when open, no driving, no crazy passes." I think he only had 3 shot fakes in this game, which has to be like 100% less than what he usually does.
It's a record-breaking game.
Yeah. Brad also said that the spread offense has helped him a lot. It's not always about him having to make a play. We have been able to space him, putting him in places where he literally is just stepping in to catch and shoot threes. If I could have a shot like his, I'd want to shoot 15 to 20 times a game because he is a very, very good shooter. If Brad could shoot like Coleman, he would have shot 20 times a game. Coleman, after the game, he was one of the guys that was interviewed. He said, quote, "I knew they struggled with the pick and pop. If we set good screens, I would be available to pop. They have been harping on me to stop pump faking and shoot it. So I've been in the gym working on catch and shoot threes."
Good.
Pump fake turnover Hawkins will rear his ugly head tomorrow. Yeah, there's already people that are like, where are all the Coleman haters? And it's like, you watched him play.
This is what's so stupid about the internet. But also, I'll toss this out there too. Did we ever talk about the interview where Hawkins was pretty much saying that being able to adapt and be, able to play for a coach like Brad because of how much he yells and how in your face he is? He pretty much said, tune him out and don't listen to. It's pretty much what I took away from that. Did we ever talk about that?
I don't think so.
He said, I learned from guys like Io and Trent to just like tune it out or something. Like,
and you could tell like Coleman, like I think there's a difference between tuning him out and not taking it, to heart.
It seems like he said both things though.
Yeah, but Coleman isn't like, when Coleman's getting yelled at, he doesn't look at Brad.
I wouldn't either.
At all. So
Shannon wasn't either when he was getting ripped by him in that Northwestern game. But screw that.
Coleman also shouted out the fans. He said, "It felt good having the energy at the State Farm Center and the fans coming out today and supporting us. I know it has been a little negative on Twitter, but I appreciate the people here who stuck with us and supported us and brought a great amount of energy. So shout out to the fans." So Anthony thinks Coleman missed word.
Probably, yeah.
I think, yeah. I don't know if I saw that.
It's 3 weeks ago, I think. It's just a video.
Okay.
Which it popped up in my recommendations, and I was like, well, that seems like a question you might want to ask somebody like Sky Clark. So weird timing by YouTube to have that in my recommendation.
Yeah. I'm not on this. Was Sky the problem?
No. I think that's just a stupid thing that was inevitably going to happen or be discussed after this game if they won.
Absolutely. But this was a must-win game for them, and it looks like they're playing as a team. Brad emphasized it a ton after Northwestern of getting the toughness and playing like a team. And this game, they looked like a cohesive unit rather than Terrence Shannon Jr., Coleman Hawkins, Matthew Meyer, just, trying to take over games. So,
well, it also helps when you shoot 10 for 19 from three. That changes things and makes you look better, makes you look more like a team.
It definitely does. And I'll take 19 threes the rest of the season, please. Sign me up for that.
I think anything above 25 is too much, so I'll go 25 and under.
Okay. I'm okay with that too. Just not 30. Let's just,
well, how many did they took 39 against Syracuse, and that was one of their highest margin victories of the season.
Yeah, Syracuse sucks.
Suck on that zone.
But anyways, on to yours.
Yeah, I pretty right after the game I said I'm taking Shannon, so you have to take Hawkins. That's pretty much how I went through it the whole time. Terrence Shannon Jr., though, easily the player of the game for me. I get that Hawkins played well, but I think Shannon just felt a little bit different.
He looked like he was back to where he was a couple weeks ago.
Defensively really good. Whenever Illinois just decided, okay, Hepburn's cooking Epps a little bit, let's put Shannon on Hepburn, slowed him down a little bit at that time, got a steal and led to a dunk, and then there was that terrible, terrible call on him whenever Gilmore leaned into him with the screen, and Shannon, that was a horrific call on Shannon, but 31 minutes, 7 for 11 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. The 3 was big time that he hit. 9 of 12 from the free throw line, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 turnovers. And also, we talked about going into the game, how many minutes would Hawkins play? 33. And 33. He earned it this time. He earned it.
And what did he play the first half? It was only like
12, I think. Yeah.
So, and Brad seems to be relying on other guys to get the offense rolling, in sets and how it should be run. So
he probably played 14 in the first half because 12 is obviously 12 plus 20 is 32, so that doesn't really work out math-wise.
Yeah, it had to be 14.
It felt like 12 or 14.
Yeah. MJ says we're back, Final Four bound.
Yep.
Jeremy said you noticed Dane in the high post a little. I said that the last pod. Yeah, so the way that the spread is set up is that the 5 is supposed to be up in the top of that, around the free throw line. Ethan sent me a great video about the spread offense. So guys, look that up on YouTube.
Educational.
Yeah. Lunker says, "Sup boys, my heart is crushed, but the sneaky Lions ain't in, so I'm happy." Yeah, Ethan was crying last night too.
Oh, please. I handled it very well, in my opinion.
I said 28-32 last pod. I don't know.
For threes?
28-32. Oh, 28 of 32 from 3. Yeah, I think he did. That's right. I'll take 10 of 19.
UCLA high post. Start running UCLA high post offense. One of the better offenses to run when you have a couple of bigs in college hoops 2K8.
You've just been scouting offenses, so you know what to
Well, in college hoops 2K8, if I have a 6'10 center and a 6'8 power forward, I run a little UCLA high post. Nobody's stopping that.
Oh, Coleman's minutes should be 28 to 32 minutes. Yes. Well, he was pretty close to that.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have played 33 if he wasn't making every single shot. And if Illinois, depending on where they were.
Crypto said they took his grandson to Soldier Field to watch the Bears. Now he's a Vikings fan.
Well, I mean, if you're a Vikings fan, you're setting yourself up for – you're not going to see any winning either, but that's all right.
Greatest number 1 pick tank I've ever seen. Terrence Shannon Jr. was also interviewed afterwards. He was one of the 3. He said, quote, "We found out a way to start possessions and get in, and we executed. I thought that this team was much better dribbling in to the spread this game. It felt like in the second half they were passing into it, and it didn't seem to do as much for them. But again, it was more they were getting it to the wing. They were setting the screens they were supposed to. No phantom. I mean, there were some phantom screens. Let's not lie. But
well, I think Wisconsin certainly missed Wall on both ends.
Yeah.
I think offensively they would have they pretty much relied on Crowell and Hepburn the entire game, and Wall is really, really good at post play, especially
and rebounding.
And defensively,
he knows how to get in there.
I don't think it would have been as easy for Illinois to get to the rim if Wall was playing as well. But Illinois also pretty much, I mean, I know the score was 10, but Hepburn hit a couple of deep threes. I think Illinois probably wins by 15 or 16, maybe a little bit more if those threes weren't hit. So I don't think that Wall playing would have meant that Wisconsin was winning.
Right. I agree. Lunker says, "I'm not mad at 12 at all. He's better than Favre. GPG for life." I don't know what that means.
Not ready to be there yet, but
Green Bay Packer glory.
Go Pack, go.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
He also says, "Everyone hit the like button, please." Thank you. Jeremy said, "Can we all agree officiating has been awful this year?"
I think you could say that every single year.
Every year, the Big Ten. Terrence Shannon also said, "I feel like we are going to win every game. I know we're 0-3 and dug ourselves in a hole, and this was a must-win for us," kind of like everybody was saying. He also said, "It's the same offense we've been running. We just executed and ran the plays all the way through."
Well, they haven't been running this offense.
So at least they know.
Year.
But they've been running it for 3 weeks, and it's been
3 weeks. I don't know. I feel like it's been like 2 weeks.
I've been working on it for 3
2 and a half weeks.
Running it for 2. Yeah. He said to everybody, they said we were breaking, to see Sky leaving, and everybody assumed we were broken and torn apart. But we really rallied and stayed together. Whatever Sky is going through, we are supporting him, and I feel like that brought us together.
Yeah, I think that's a better point than Sky's ability on the floor makes them better because he's gone. That just doesn't make any sense.
They have somebody to rally for. I think that plays a big factor. So, We got to beat Nebraska. Cornhuskers are tough.
Yep.
All right. Anything else you want to say about TSJ?
Nope. Hopefully he does this every game.
Hopefully he does this every game. Yes, It would be great. Matthew Meyer, 30 minutes, 2 for 5, 1 to 2 from 3, 5 for 6 from the line, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. I like this line from Meyer. I know that the spread offense doesn't give Meyer the ability to play like he probably wants to. Brad said that they, in the second half, and you saw it, they ran some sets for Meyer to get in the lane. He had that miss and then a really nice putback. But I love 6 rebounds. I love 3 assists out of him and 2 blocks. I know he gets burnt a ton on defense just because I feel like he overreads and overextends. But the way that he reads players really well. So he kind of gets his hand caught in the cookie jar a few times. But I thought I would take this, 15 points, maybe a couple more threes. I take this line from Meyer every game.
Yeah, I agree. I just hope that you almost wonder if maybe when he was talking about him and Brad disagreeing on how he wants to play or whatever was said, I think maybe it had something to do with this.
Yeah.
Had something to do with the fact that Brad's offense isn't really a great fit for him.
That's true. But that's, my thing is Matthew Meyer was never that guy at Baylor. So why do you want to be that guy so bad or why does he want to be that guy so bad at Illinois?
Probably because there's only one guy that would be the guy over him right now, overall, from a roster perspective. I think at Baylor, there was always a few guys ahead of him.
Yeah, that's true.
But I would say he's probably the 4th option in this offense, probably.
Jeremy said that Coleman finally figured out a pump fake only works if you shoot. Yeah. It's true. You're not really faking anybody out if you never put it up.
What option do you think Meyer is in this offense? 4 or 5? Shannon.
I don't think that there is a number.
Epps,
I'd say 3.
Danger. What about Danger?
I don't think Danger is. I think Danger.
I think they want to use him more than they are.
Yeah. I think there's. Brad talked about how good Danger played, and he even said, "quote Even though his numbers don't look great from an offensive standpoint, we don't talk about how good he is defensively, leading the Big Ten in block shots."
I take issue with this comment. Number one, perfect example. Go watch it on the watch party. You are yelling at him, "Don't help there," and he leaves the 3-point shooter open, and the 3 gets hit.
That's true.
So if Dane Danger's not
think that he's terrible at stepping up against.
If he's not defending in the paint, he's a useless defender.
Yeah.
So you have to keep.
But he's great in the paint.
Yeah, but you have to keep him low.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to play outside.
He's awful in the pick and roll.
Yeah.
So
well, most centers are at this point.
Yeah. But 24 minutes for Dane, 2 of 6. Missed both his free throws. I don't know if you get chicken nuggets for that. 4 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 blocks, 1 turnover. I thought Dane was good. Like I said, his defense kind of annoys me sometimes. But I thought that he was okay. I don't think he was as good as Brad thought he was. So I don't know. I think that he just doesn't get utilized, like you said. So
yeah. Well,
Quackle says Meyer made strides since the beginning of the year. Great player, no slander allowed. I'm not slanderizing him. Meyer needs that freedom on 3 or 4 possessions a game and play team ball the rest of the time. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And like I said, Brad made sure that they ran sets for him to be able to back somebody down or get an open 3. So
I have to assume that Brad is talking about Danger in conference play because he is tied for 6th in blocks per game in the Big Ten. But also, Trace Jackson Davis has 13 more blocks than Danger on the season. So he's got to just be talking about Big Ten play.
Yeah, it must be. It's not even close. MJ said Brad tried an open and flexible offense. It wasn't working, and the players needed more structure. Yeah, I missed that quote by Coleman. He talked about that afterwards. And he said, where's it at? I don't know where it went.
He said something about it though.
Oh,
definitely.
I just said Coleman thinks playing more structured rather than playing free with 5 out is better for this team. So I didn't actually put the quote in there.
It's pretty obvious.
But I skipped right over it. Thanks, MJ, for reminding me. Thank you.
Whenever you were going to bring that up, I was going to say, obviously no bleep, but
No bleep.
I just let you skip over it.
All right, yeah. Sincere Harris, 15 minutes. Him and Ty had like 14 and 15, so played the least amount. 0 for 2, 0 points, 2 assists, 3 steals, but no turnovers. Sincere came out like he was the starting point guard in this game. He took it to the hole, didn't pass. Offense really didn't get going, and then he was on the bench.
Did he miss the rim on both attempts?
He might have. I know the second one he definitely threw it like off the backboard.
He might have hit the rim on the first. I don't know, but not good.
Yep. Quackle said he got roasted during the Syracuse game for suggesting that. Insert Kermit drinking tea meme. Playing more structured. That was a good call. These guys. These guys just. They're not. I don't think they're. I hate to say skilled enough to just play free flow. They're like North Carolina does or somebody like that. It doesn't work for North Carolina all the time either. But Sincere once again, great defender. Forced a couple turnovers on Chucky. Chucky did go on that run. I don't know if I think maybe Epps was on him at that time. Epps did get a steal against him though. So, it was funny because Terrence Shannon thought that they held Chucky to probably like 10 points or something. And in the post game, he's like, yeah, we held Chucky down. He scored some late. And then he's like, oh, he had 22. So, I mean, between him and Crowell, the second half, they just tried to take over the game because not a lot was happening anywhere else, which says a lot for the defense. I think.
Wisconsin, Chucky Hepburn certainly better than that bum Boo Buie. I'll tell you that. Even though Boo Buie had a nice game yesterday, but I would take, since the offense pretty much completely ran through him. I mean, 8 for 18.
Yeah, I mean, they held him to 4 points in the first half.
Yeah, so. And Crowell was 9 for 18, 1 for 7 from 3.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Brad said on Sincere, he wears guards out, and that ball pressure is important. So, kind of what everybody was thinking. Brad just tells it like it is, folks.
Yep.
Anthony says this is the most important stretch of the season. 5 very winnable games coming up. Should go no worse than 4-1. Yeah. Is his I think Michigan State's going to be a tough one at home.
I said I would take 2 and 3, but 3 and 2.
Then at least you have Indiana and Ohio State at home. So,
and Indiana probably not going to have all 5 starters by then. So
that's true. Race is out for how long?
Indefinitely.
Ouch.
And Xavier Johnson's injury is pretty big time too. I think his was an ankle injury against Arizona. I think so.
It's basketball IQ, in my opinion, not skill for the flexibility. When Luke comes back and conditioned, I'd have him watch Klay Thompson film. The D off-ball movement can translate to Goody's game. I like it. Shouldn't they be doing that now while he's in a boot? He's not in a boot anymore. Northwestern being better than us is sad.
Give it time.
We need to go on a big run. Yeah. Yeah. Northwestern's started 3-1 the last 3 years.
Yeah, give it time.
So. Jaden Epps, he seems to be the guy. He's not starting yet, but he seems to be the guy that's going to take over the point guard job with Sky leaving the team for a little while. 29 minutes, 5 of 8, 2 of 3 from 3, 3 for 4 from the line, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. The big blemish on his day was 4 turnovers, but getting pushed into that role of being the point guard, I guess. He didn't handle the pressure great, but I think he'll be all right. Do you think that Brad sticks with Sincere starting, or you think he makes a change?
I think you probably stick with it as long as you're winning, I guess, at this point. I don't know.
Wouldn't they lose too?
I
With
know, but
Sincere starting?
just feels like they start maybe. I don't know. I'd probably, if I were coaching the team, I'd probably go to Epps in this game, but I'm not sure Brad's going to do it.
Yeah.
Coming off of a win, I don't feel like he's the type that would make a change.
That's true. I just, he played 26 minutes because he got 2 fouls in the first game starting, and then he played about 2 this game. So, understandable why he took him out to start this game. But Epps said, again, like Terrence, dug ourselves a hole early. Key was just staying together and not giving up, practicing hard and playing with effort. I thought that was the key for us. And then he was asked about being the point guard and, what that means moving forward. And he said, my teammates trusted me and I trusted my teammates. Coaches pushing me to be more of a leader and lead the team, take on that point guard role. If you don't call a play, I call a play, take control of the offense. I feel like I'm stepping into that role. I have a lot to learn, but I will be fine. I feel like I can help us when at the point guard. So,
yep,
he is ready. Just start him, please. RJ Melendez, 24 minutes, 1 of 6, 0 for 3 from 3, perfect from the line, 2 free throws, 4 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He did not turn the ball over. So, RJ's defense is consistently getting better, I think. He's just got to find that flow in offense. The only shot he made was like a 19-footer, little off the dribble, I believe. So I like 6 rebounds from him. I don't know. He's got to find a shot. I don't know what's going on with his shot. Brad says everybody's really good shooters. So
wouldn't have gotten to this level without the ability to shoot unless you're Ty Rodgers.
Jeremy says he sees a lot of Frank Mason in Epps.
Yep.
You Googling him?
No, I know who that is.
All right. Ty Rodgers, 14 minutes, 1 for 4, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 turnover.
Kansas, right? Wasn't Frank Mason at Kansas? Yeah. Of course I know who that is. What am I, an idiot? Come on. Probably because Frank Mason was a 5'11" point guard.
There you go.
Good player, though.
By the way, Epps is 6'3", 6'2".
Just doesn't look that way.
Some old guy told me that one time in Vegas. So, Rodgers, of course, I think that he's going to get more minutes now. I think he played 4 last game, played 14 this game. I thought I didn't mind his aggressiveness on offense. I know his touch was a little off. Brad said that this is pretty good because I know you guys are all questioning Ty Rodgers' shot. He said Ty was huge. I love Ty Rodgers. Ty Rodgers works. I don't know why he had to say his name 3 times, but that's just Brad. I was so happy to see him shoot the corner 3. No one practices and shoots more than he does, except for everybody else on the team. How can you say everybody practices more than everybody else on the team?
It's competition.
He made a great floater, 2 that just went in and out. Those will go in. He is going to be huge for us coming up. He is an elite defender and a great rebounder. So I thought it was interesting. I think we called it the actual Illini team. Brad ran the 3 freshmen and then Coleman and RJ, I believe.
Yeah.
So, get them transfers out here and let's get the guys that bleed orange and blue.
Definitely.
Right?
But I'll also say this. I like seeing Ty Rodgers take the 3 when it slid across the rim. Awesome shot. I mean,
it looked good.
Did it? I don't know.
Nobody shoots more than him. Imbrot says Indiana has great guard defense. Sure hope we have enough against it.
Yeah, Indiana's defense against guards is elite. I think it's even better when Xavier Johnson is in there, but Tamar Bates and Hood Schifino, pretty good.
Yeah.
But I'm very curious to see Dane Danger versus Trace Jackson Davis. That's the thing I'm looking forward to in that game. But anyway, a few games away. Give it time.
Gary said, how many turnovers for Illinois? They only had 2 in the first half. Finished the game with 10. So I think you take 10 from this team.
Yeah,
and they're averaging, 16, 17? I don't even know what they're averaging anymore, but
well, let's check. I'll give it a look.
You check that out. I'll get into other notes and quotes anyway, so good lead into that. Illinois 14 assists on 25 made baskets. You could clearly see that this team was playing different, passing the ball, driving, kicking it out. And it seems like they're starting to trust each other. They had 7 different guys with an assist, and Brad Underwood said that he was going to give him a standing ovation. So,
all right.
He didn't stand when he clapped in the post game, so he really gave him a sitting ovation.
Oh, very nice.
Lunker said, I could see Indiana ripping us apart.
Whoa.
3 turnovers were in garbage time. Lunkers is a realist. I guess Packers fans have to do that. Illinois finally gets to the line, 19 of 26 from the free throw line. I think you take 73% with this team right now. Wisconsin, 5 of 12 from the line.
14.9 turnovers per game.
Okay, right around 50.
44th in the country in terms of most per game. There's 2 Big Ten teams that are the teams that turn the ball over the least in the country. Can you name the 2? Illinois played one of them. They haven't played
Virginia.
The other one. Big Ten teams.
Oh, Big Ten. Penn State doesn't turn the ball over.
The least amount in the country.
And I'm going to say Iowa.
No. Virginia is 6th, by the way, in least turnovers. Wisconsin's 5.
Okay.
Number 2 is a Big Ten squad. A team that you
Purdue
certainly don't like. Nope. Purdue's like 20th.
Indiana.
25th. Nope.
I don't like any Big Ten team.
This one definitely
Michigan.
Don't. Yeah. A lot of Big Ten teams like that don't turn the ball over very much. And you got Illinois just sitting in the same company as Alabama A&M and Illinois State in turnovers per game.
Indiana isn't ripping us apart, at least with their health right now. Lunker says sure about that. We got an argument going in chat. Indiana can't shoot. We couldn't beat Northwestern, but okay. That was a different team. Rutgers.
It's Indiana coming here. I feel fine about that.
I agree. The free throw shooting, that was one of the things that Brad talked about in the postgame against Northwestern. One of the 3 things to stem teams from going on runs. So, getting back to the line is always good. Not letting the other team get to the line as much, of course, is even better. So, you talked about it, 10 of 19 from 3, 52.6%. A large part of that was Hawkins, of course, going 6 of 9. 6 of 9, yeah. And like I said, I like this better than 33s a game. So they asked about the threes, and Underwood said it's not a focus. It's the shots we are going to get when you run offense. It's an energy and it's a rhythm. You have to have great rhythm about you when you play offense. And when you do, the ball finds the bottom of the net. We have really good shooters. Guys, do you know how good shooters we got on this team?
Some elite ones, I hear.
79 points against Wisconsin. Pretty big deal.
So, by the way, real quick, Illinois did not take very many threes in this game, right? 19 threes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find when they took their first one because it felt like it was a while, wasn't it? I feel like they didn't take their first 3 for quite a bit.
I think you're right.
I can't find it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Fun game Saturday. Great time in Assembly Hall. Northwestern has no bigs. TJD should eat. TJD.
Eat what? Eat the floor when he's sitting on the bench?
Brad said today, offensively, we trusted and we believed. We trusted the offense was going to help us get opportunities and getting us shots. The ball had energy. It allowed for us to score 80 points against one of the best defensive teams, not only in the Big Ten, but the country.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
May say that, but I don't know.
And no Tyler Wall, right?
Really? I hadn't heard about that. Illinois' first 3 was RJ with about 5.5 minutes into the game. So that feels like they chuck one up in the first couple minutes. Usually Meyer tosses one up.
Yeah.
And then their next 3 wasn't until 8 minutes in by Epps. That was another miss. Their first made three was Epps with 9:44 left in the first half. So didn't take very many threes.
Illini shooters have to be hot for us to win. Bruce Weber always said the ball loves movement. Bruce Weber, that guy could coach. Brad said, if it was, I thought this was pretty good. If it were as simple as coaching X's and O's, y'all could do that, but it's not. We have 8 or 9 new guys, and it's about our culture and accountability. You can't get disrailed with a distraction or something that goes awry. We got to the point where we weren't playing very hard. As a coach, you have to fight for that a little bit and get them to understand that's not acceptable.
Okay. Is disrailed a word? I thought it was derailed.
I don't know. Maybe he said derailed, and I wrote it as disrailed.
I mean, geez, that's a
it didn't come up on my spell check, but y'all did. So
well, if it was just X's and O's, I don't think any of those people could do that either. That's all right.
That's true. He said he started saying something like, "You guys write about X's," and then he stopped. So he said it was nice to see them play the right way. Nice to see them play free, smiling and chest bumping. Let's get our swagger back. We are frickin' Illinois. We are good. We have quality wins. Frickin' Illinois.
They have some of the best wins in the country, believe it or not. So
teams play much better when free throw attempts are more than threes. Yes. RJ looked good. Points weren't there, but but rebounding, playing hard, solid. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what we said about RJ. I think he'll find his groove. I feel like he needs Goody out there. I feel
Goody's
like
going to steal his minutes. Is what you meant to say.
I think they'll play together and they'll just light teams up.
Sure.
Of course, somebody had to ask about Sky Clark because what would a post game be without talking about Sky Clark? Brad said there's no timetable on anything. It is not basketball. It is about a brother, a teammate that, as he said, personal things that he needs to figure out. We're going to love him. We are going to provide everything we can in every facet. As much as we want to make things about basketball and wins and losses, those go to the back burner really quick. We are going to support. I'm not going to go into any details. I thought that he put it very well in his statement. When it's right, it will be right. So there you go. Sky will be back whenever he feels he can be back.
He'll be back.
Jeremy says sometimes RJ seems off. Almost every game he seems like he broke something and really plays up little dings. Yeah, I thought I don't know if we talked about this on the Sky Clark one, but I think it was Ant Wright had a really good thing about RJ. Looks exactly the same as he did last year. His physicality didn't amp up going into season 2 where everybody thought he was going to be breakout. Breakout. He's not broke. Okay.
He's going to get broke out.
Underwood also said today was kind of the point where it started to, we can do this, and we scored 80 points and nobody has to do it themselves. And then he said, it's never easy to feel yucky or feel bad and not play good. And yet character will always win out. You get back to that. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's day to day. Do your job. When you do that, you usually come out on the other side pretty good. And that's all we've been trying. That's all we've tried to get these guys to do is fight every day.
Usage of the word yucky. What are you, 5 years old? Would be my takeaway from that statement.
Well, yucky. When you
what are you 5 years old?
What's he supposed to say?
Feel like shit.
Say it. There you go.
Speak like an adult, Brad. Jesus.
Is that making an adult? Jeremy says I should have started with I love RJ. I like RJ too. I think that he's going to be okay. Like I said, he just needs to see some balls go down. He's got a good shot. So, but again, much needed win. Illinois looked completely different on offense. It's what you wanted to see. Now keep going.
Tomorrow. Sure, yeah. Well, we'll see.
Into Nebraska ball.
Illinois goes on the road to Nebraska, to Lincoln, Nebraska, which is a dump, but it's probably not that bad, I suppose. Whatever. And they'll be taking on Fred Hoiberg's team, which has looked a little bit better this year than in past seasons. They're 9-7, 2-3 in the Big Ten. Illinois 10-5, 1-3 in the Big Ten. This is tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Big Ten Network game. If you look at the last few
8 p.m. game, what is going on?
Yeah, well, what can you do? Illinois last year at Nebraska won by 10. But they were down 32-31 at the half, and then kind of got it going in the second half. Trent Frazier had 29, 2-5 in that game. The year before that, obviously, the infamous Io overtime win, 77-72. Io had 31-6, and just completely took the game over. Illinois was down by 1 at the half at that game as well. So not great starts at Nebraska the last few years.
No.
And then obviously the COVID year, I don't think they played there. Let me check here. The year where the tournament didn't happen. Yeah, they didn't play there, but they've had success at Nebraska, even though it's been a little bit harder in recent, years to do so. But 3 years in a row winning there, or 2 years in a row, I guess, winning there, and a little bit closer than you always expect. But this time I expect it to be close anyway. So. Yeah, but like I said, if the Illini fans have learned anything over the last few years, it's that you can't take Nebraska lightly, especially when you're playing at Nebraska. And they've been good on the road this year too. They won at Creighton, they won at Iowa, I believe. So it might not have been at Iowa. I think they won at home against Iowa, but they did something on the road that I can't think of off the top of my head. But similar to many Big Ten teams, with the exception of probably Purdue and Ohio State, their defensive, numbers and metrics are much better than their offensive ones. This just seems like a trend in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
With the exception of a couple teams. So
yeah, they've shown signs that they can, play well, and then they've also just been horribly, horribly bad. So, I'd say the only good win is probably Creighton that they have, and that was without Philip, what's the guy's name? Kalkbrenner. Yeah. So.
Well, I think Iowa, when you look back on it, that could be a pretty decent win since they destroyed them. And that was Iowa with Chris Murray playing. So I think if you look back on that, and if Iowa's a tournament team, which I still think they probably will be, I think that's a good win. But other than that, yeah, St. John's game is a perfect example of what's wrong with this team at times. Is like they hold St. John's to 20 points in the first half. They lose. They have a 9-point lead at the half, 7-point lead. Nice math. 7-point lead at the half against St. John's. And they lose by 20, and that's not a very good St. John's team either. So that was a problematic game. But other than that, they've been a little bit better. There's a little bit more cohesiveness. They don't really have as many newcomers, even though their main guy pretty much is one. But a little bit more cohesiveness for Hoiberg.
Yeah. Yeah. St. Dominic's back, and he says he was wrong about Brad. He's the greatest motivator in NCAA basketball.
That's right. Easy.
TSJ can't do that. I assume take over like IO. Always slow starts. If they ever come out smoking the other team, we are there. I agree. Illinois is known. I don't think they ever let Wisconsin go on a run, though, like you usually see, if I remember correctly.
Illinois had a lot of bursts in this game. They're really going with the bursts. Nebraska projected starting lineup at the 1 runs the point. Sam Greisel, still don't know how to pronounce his name, even though I've watched him at North Dakota State as well. Still don't know how to pronounce his name, so that's good. 6'7", so a bigger point guard, maybe a little bit more of an NBA style point guard. There's a lot of those guys in the NBA now.
Yeah.
17 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists in the overtime win at Nebraska. Obviously, like I said, transferred from North Dakota State.
Minnesota.
Yeah, whatever. He faced his own team. But their biggest transfer for sure, probably. I think there's another one in the lineup that was a big one, but this is probably the biggest one. They also have guard Emmanuel Bandumel, 6'4" guard, shooting a whopping 22% from 3 this year, which means he'll probably go like 6 for 9 against Illinois. They also have a forward, really a guard height-wise. C.J. Wilcher, 6'5", had 22 points earlier in the year in a loss to Indiana.
Two forwards are shorter than their guards.
Yep. Yep. And they have forward Jawan Gary, 14 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist in the win over Iowa. He's a transfer from Alabama. And then center, probably the player that Illinois needs to stop the most would be Derek Walker, 6'9", 63% from the field, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists against Minnesota. So there's a reason why my players to watch revolves around him.
Yeah, that's be interesting. I mean, hopefully Illinois can match up with him all right. 6'9's not overly big. So
maybe the first Big Ten game of the season where Illinois has the advantage in all metrics, I think. They're 52nd in adjusted offense. Nebraska's 150th. Horrible. Adjusted defense, Illinois is 36th. Nebraska's 44th. And then adjusted tempo, Illinois 58th. Nebraska 289th. So got the advantage in those categories with relative ease in most of them except defense, a little bit closer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Nebraska is such a streaky team. Going into Nebraska, it's always, kind of a scare. I think Illinois, as long as they implement this offense, and they keep doing it, and their defense keeps playing as well as they are, I think Illinois is going to have an easy time up in wherever the heck they are. Players to watch. I keep doing this thing where my player of the game becomes my player to watch. So why change it this time, right? Why would I change anything? Coleman Hawkins. Can Coleman Hawkins continue to be more better option and not facilitator? Let's continue that streak. Coleman, I think, goes for 15 and 15 this game because Brad's got to just be chewing his ass about not getting rebounds. So my security web route's running, so stream might go down, guys. And then I picked Sam Griesel, the transfer, like you said, from North Dakota State. Another big guard. So we'll see how Illinois can handle him. I think probably Terrence Shannon Jr. is going to be on him, if I had to guess. And then you stick the other guys on the other guards and the forwards that are smaller than him. But he shoots around 36% from three. So just gotta hope that the pick and roll doesn't become Illinois' demise. So sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just looking at them talking about Whitman's hires.
Yeah, that's great.
And then Bergie makes a great comment about the two before that. So anyways, who'd you pick? Since we already knew, since you said it 5 minutes ago, but
Dane Danger versus Derek Walker, big matchup. I'm curious to see how this one goes, how much Dane plays, how much they use Walker in their offense. I think Dane can score against him, even though I think he's a good defender. But either way, I'm very curious to see how Dane Danger plays in this game. And maybe, see where he's at in terms of the offense. I think they want to get him more involved every week. So I think this would be an interesting game to do so, given the fact that their best player is probably a center who's around the same height as him. So I don't know. We'll see, I suppose. That's where I'm at on this one, really. Those are my thoughts.
All right.
Yeah.
Predictions. I think Illinois is going to, again, I think their offense is clicking. I think they got it figured out right now. Let's hope it continues. I got Illinois winning this one by 11. Going to be in control most of the game. 85-74 Illini.
I don't know if they're going to score that much. I think this is going to be a little tighter. I'm going to go Illinois 76-72 win. I don't think that they're going to be able to be as efficient on offense as they were against Wisconsin because I think it's a little bit harder in another team's gym. And Nebraska's defense is decent. So I think it's a win, but I think it's a little bit closer and they score a little bit less. So that's where I'm at on that. I'm just looking at Whitman hires here. I think the women's hire, the first one was a total courtesy hire. The one before Shauna Green, because he was at that same university, I believe, before he became the AD at Illinois. He was the AD at Washington, Missouri. So, that's a total courtesy hire, in my opinion. Not sure your guys' thoughts on that.
That sounds right to me. Sounds like a total courtesy hire.
They were in the same place. It has to be. And Lovie Smith was a flashy,
Yeah, you got to hire Lovie.
Yeah.
Anthony says Nebraska 72, Illinois 67. He said before Illinois is going to lose this game and then go on a 6-game winning streak, so can't be mad about that. And Brock says Nebraska bombing from 3 will be the only thing worrying me. I don't think they're the greatest 3-point shooters. They shoot around 30%. So, I guess that's good, but Quackle says, let's get that dub. Lunker says, close game, Illini win. Go Illini, beat the Huskers. Fire emoji, blue emoji, orange emoji, whatever that emoji is, puffing smoke emoji. So
thank you. Yeah. All right, let's go around the Big Ten real quick here.
Let's go around the Big Ten.
Yeah, Purdue loses to Rutgers last week, but they followed up with wins at Ohio State, and they just bombed Penn State in the second half.
It's crazy. In both of those games, they were losing at halftime, right?
Yeah.
And, Matt Painter says, give it to our 7-4 monster and let him score 30. So,
yeah,
kind of easy, way to fix that. And, if Lawyer's hitting and I can't think of the other kid's name now. Braden Smith, thank you.
Yeah, they were 7 for 13 from 3 combined last night.
It amazes me. Like, Braden Smith will go to the lane, and he does, it doesn't even matter. He just throws it over his head, and he's like, the 7-4 guy will catch that. He's not even looking, nothing. Just kind of over the shoulder. There you go, buddy.
First 10 minutes of the second half last night in that game, Purdue was down 6 at the half. They outscored them 27-9 in the first 10 minutes of the second half. And started the second half on, I think, a 12-0 run.
Yeah.
So, they took care of business there. Believe it or not, Ohio State has the number 1 adjusted offensive efficiency on KenPom, which is, very surprising to me. They are an efficient offense, but just doesn't feel like they would be number 1.
Yeah.
And Purdue is number 2, and our friends at Missouri, number 3.
Wow. That's
the top 3. Then Gonzaga, Arizona, Marquette is 6th, which is very surprising. Marquette went from, they were 64th on offense last year, 94th in Wojo's last year, and then 14th in the COVID year, and now they're 6th this year. So they really turned things around. And like I said, when they hired Shaka Smart, it was like, hey, better fit for him. Not dealing well with BS at Texas, which, like I said before we started, if Calipari ends up at Texas, that is horrific for both sides. Horrific. Crazy. Michigan State has won 6 straight. They're now 3-1 in the Big Ten. They beat Michigan on Saturday, despite the efforts of Michigan to try to win the game, apparently, because it was pretty close. And then they were like, Dickinson hits a 3. And it's like, okay, let's set up a play where Dickinson tries to make another 3 and not even close.
Missouri almost lost to Vanderbilt.
It's conference play.
Yeah. Yeah, Michigan State. Malik Hall's back. I think they're 6-1, 7-1 when Malik Hall started or played. So,
yep.
Friday's going to be a good one.
Yep. Indiana's now 1-3 in the Big Ten. Losses to Northwestern and Iowa. They've been without Xavier Johnson for a while. They lose Race Thompson as well.
Yeah,
they're still, I think the overall thoughts or thinking, which is the same thing, but I'm going to say both,
right?
Is that Indiana is soft, and I can't disagree.
Yeah, like Bohannon said, nobody's scared of Indiana.
They don't reflect Mike Woodson in the ways that I thought they would. I feel like he is a lot tougher than his team is, which I think is probably an issue. So
Right.
I don't know. And then also Big Ten in the AP poll, there's only 2 teams right now, which 2 teams out of the Big Ten in the top 25 in January is not something that we see often. Like only 2 teams in there right now. And there's one towards the top and there's one towards the bottom. So the fact there's only 2 teams out of the Big Ten in the AP poll right now is surprising. Purdue is 3rd, Wisconsin is 18th. Then others receiving votes, Indiana 30 votes, Michigan State 24 votes, Northwestern 21 votes, Rutgers and Illinois 13 votes, Ohio State with 9 votes. So very bizarre to see the Big Ten with only 2 teams right now.
Yeah, maybe people are starting to not overhype the Big Ten.
Well,
but then again, there's not a team in the Big Ten without a loss right now, right? So at least in Big Ten play.
Yeah. Everybody has 5 or more losses on the season except for Purdue and Michigan State and Wisconsin, Northwestern. So anyway,
Sensabaugh is why Ohio State is a top offense.
Yeah, it's very, very in the same light of how good Malachi Branham was last year, but also Justice Suing is back and he's really good.
Yeah,
especially inside. Like he's only shooting 30% from 3, but he's 53% inside 3. But yeah, I mean, they got good freshmen. I mean, Bruce Thornton's been super efficient as well. He's a 45, 46, 79 splits from the field. Plus they have Sean McNeil, who is a very solid player as well.
Yeah. Big Ten is beating up on each other. Yeah. I text Ethan the Ken Palm predictions, and it's like Purdue 14-6, and then everybody else is like 11-9, 10-10, 12-8, I guess. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting what happens. If the Big Ten has that many teams at 10-10.
Yeah. So. Well, the good thing for Illinois, if that's the case, is that they will have at least 3 big wins on the resume. And I also wouldn't be surprised if Wisconsin drops out of the top 25 after this week, because you're without Wall. Maybe for another game, you're playing Michigan State and then at Indiana, which Indiana will be desperate probably on Saturday, and Michigan State's playing well. So there's a good chance Purdue, unless another team jumps in, is the only team in the poll next week. So, and the only team that would jump in probably if Michigan State beats Illinois and Wisconsin, they would definitely be in. So we will see. But also, before we're done here, shout out to the women's team. You know, you could say that they choked yesterday. I think they did, but also on the road, undefeated Ohio State team, number 3 in the country. Illinois had a 10-point lead at the half, and it takes a while for teams to learn how to close or how to
They kind of did the same thing against Indiana, right? They were on the road against Indiana and ended up. I think they were up against Indiana.
Sure.
Am I thinking of the right team?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
The Indiana men's team was up 21 on Iowa and lost. Any thoughts on that?
No, not really. Illinois was at Indiana. They lost by 4. They were leading. They weren't ever leading. Never mind. I take it back.
Anyway, this is their first time.
Close out games, girls.
First time in the top 25 since 2000. And they have not been to the NCAA tournament since 2003.
Yeah.
Just to give you a reference point on their records each season since 03, 10-18, 17-13, 16-15, 19-12, 20-15, 10-21, 19-14, 9-23, 11-19, 19-14, 9-21, 15-16, 9-21, 9-22, 9-22, 10-20, 11-19, 5-18, 7-20 last year. And I think it, the courtesy hire by Whitman to bring in, same thing, to bring in somebody from the university he's working at before was maybe the most horrific hire and worst. Like you can inherit a bad program and make the excuse, well, they inherited a bad. She won like 12 games in her last 2. So like that is just horrific. But anyway, he got rid of her, made the right hire now. They look good.
They do. Good work getting
some freshmen in there.
Good work getting to an hour. I mean, you
I think
rattled off.
I would say this is a
those
clinic.
numbers.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
This is a clinic on how to get to the hour mark, no doubt. Because this is maybe my worst performance in an episode in the history of the program. So
no,
you
don't remember the one
a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Well,
that I was.
I'm not even sure you were there.
It was a flu game situation. Yeah. Okay. What do you want me to do? But all right. When do they play next? Do we have
girls?
That? Yeah. Let's see.
Sunday, I could have, but
Sunday against Minnesota. Sunday at Minnesota. Minnesota is I don't think they're good.
And they play the 18th against number 6 Indiana. So that'll be the game. Hopefully, Illinois can get like 10 to 12,000 fans in there. That'd be awesome.
They are 9-0 at home. So sure. All right. That'll do it for us. We'll be back 1:38 later this week, probably Thursday. If I had to guess. I had to put a guess on it.
I don't know if Thursday's going to
work.
But...
Well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Do you want to do it Friday before you go to the game?
I might have to do it Wednesday.
You have to do Wednesday. All right.
So, yep.
That'll do it for us. See you next time. Episode 138. Illinois better beat Nebraska. Fred Hoiberg not losing to that clown. All right.
Oh, boy. This sounds like what you said about Chris Collinsworth.
I'm just going to leave it at that.